realizing that when you change yourself and you change your belief system, you change the world around you. I had to focus on me. This is not where I wanted to be in life. We just put everyone before ourselves. You don't have to be nice to everybody. Just don't stay in that place. Give yourself grace, give yourself forgiveness.
Thanks for tuning into the Vibrant Soul Society, The Conversations. I'm your host, Baba Sam, the Miracle Man. Today we have a very special guest with us, a vibrant soul, Esther. So, Esther, welcome to the Conversations.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Let's start off with who is Esther?
I am, first and foremost, a woman. I am a mother, a wife, and a very busy practitioner. I am a hypnotherapist. I do hold three certifications in hypnotherapy, and that includes clinical, transpersonal, and interpersonal. I'm also an NLP practitioner, a Reiki master, an herbalist, and much more. My main focus is hypnotherapy. I love hypnotherapy. I feel it has transformed many lives, and I'm passionate about what I do.
What got you started on this journey?
So, hypnotherapy specifically, I was pregnant with one of my children, and I was very, very sick during that time. I had my spiritual awakening many years ago. And as people who have been on that spiritual awakening journey know, it doesn't end. So there's more and more and more, and you keep going. Very fascinating and very scary at times. You're learning a lot and your life is transforming. I was in this state of being sick and not being able to do much. A friend introduced me to hypnotherapy and past life regression. She's like, you've got to listen to these sessions on YouTube. So I began just listening to past life regression sessions, the audio clips or videos that practitioners would put online. And I fell in love, decided, shortly after to go back to school for hypnotherapy. I've been doing it ever since.
All right. So, that was after your spiritual awakening, you decided you were pointed
So
to.
15 years after my initial spiritual awakening. Before then, I've done many different things. I've done Reiki for a long time, astrology charts, things like that. Many moons ago, I have had my apothecary. I love herbalism and its healing and the holistic side of everything. So, yes, this was much, much later. And that was probably little over 7 years ago that happened, that I was introduced to the power of hypnotherapy.
Mhm. So I'm always curious to hear about individuals' spiritual awakenings. What happened for you? What was that pivot point for you?
I feel like my spiritual awakening was not necessarily some huge grand thing, but it was more so just a refocus and an unlocking of, okay, this is what's important. This is just working on myself, realizing that when you change yourself and you change your belief system, you change the world around you. I feel like mine has just been piece by piece over the past 15, 16, 17 years. It wasn't some huge thing. It was just little by little. I've changed, I've transformed. You have your awakenings, your dark night of the soul, your unlocking of the true you, and really shifting those belief systems. So I can't label one specific monumental thing. It's been puzzle piece by puzzle piece for me.
You just decided you needed a change, and then you start to just focus on yourself, and then it was just a slow journey from there to. So was there a spark that said, "I need to change life. This needs to be better"?
I think for me, it was really getting out. So I was in a very toxic, very abusive relationship for many years. It was in the midst of that I realized, things have to change. And my focus wasn't on me or, my family and what it needed to be. I think when most people have their first spiritual awakening, it's like fun and it's crystals, cards, burning sage, and meditation. I did have some of that, but it was kind of just something had to change. I had to focus on me. This is not where I wanted to be in life. This is not how I wanted to live my life. I was handing my power over to somebody else. I was living life in fear, to be quite honest. I knew I couldn't do that anymore. I really love empowering women through hypnotherapy. That's a huge passion of mine, working with mothers and women in general. We give so much of our life to others that often we're the natural caregivers. We are the default parents. We just put everyone before ourselves, and being able to take back our power. Remember, we are here to experience this life as well, and we're just as important as the next person. Empowering women is a huge part of what I do, and I really love that.
What hear from your spiritual journey, and this is a real key point, was that you saw that you were giving your power away, that you were giving your authority away. And then you say, no, I'm going to stand in my own truth, my own power. So that's how it began for you. Is like, why am I doing all this when I'm not taking care of me?
Yes, definitely. I became a shell of a person. I lost my true self, and I really just wanted to find, who am I? And I think those traumatic experiences, they definitely change us. They become ingrained in our bodies. The trauma and the emotions, being able to help other people tap into that and shift those belief systems. I was dealing with verbal abuse every single day. It really became to the point where who I was, and I didn't know, I had no self confidence left. So, really being able to transform my life and gain confidence back and do all of those things were key for me. So it was not as fun as most people's awakenings. Mine was, more survival and who am I and just finding myself again. I've always been an extremely authentic person, and I love that about me. It really is what you see, is what you get. I am an open book, but I had to learn boundaries, and I had to stop. I'm a kind person, but I learned that you don't have to be nice to everybody. You don't have to be that people pleaser. You don't have to put everyone else on a pedestal and go to their rescue constantly. That was a huge issue of mine. So, yes, being able to kind of take my power back and do that. And now I help clients take their power back in sessions, whether that is physically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever we're dealing with, be able to kind of step into their power as well. And it's very profound.
And you asked yourself a key question that really opens the door for spiritual awakening. Who am I?
Yes.
Get caught up in our belief system that I'm a woman, I'm this, I'm that, but we're forgetting our true essence. That's when the journey begins. It's like, okay, I'll give my authority away. So now who am I without
Mhm.
being this people pleaser, being this whatever it is? You're just standing in your own truth. Now you're helping others remember who they are outside of their belief system.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things about past life regression too, is we can go back and see all of these miraculous things that we did in another lifetime and remember that we hold that inside of us. That is us. That is our souls. Even though our body has changed, we are still that person and we still have that within us. Not every journey that every client has been on has been, I'm not going to say everyone's a queen or, something magical, but even just seeing the beauty in a mundane life and being able to enjoy it. I have one client who went to two lifetimes, and they both were very similar in easy life. And she enjoyed the little things, and she saw herself enjoy the little things. So, was having a picnic with her husband in that lifetime, watching the dogs play together. It was just so beautiful. And she came out and it was like, okay, that was boring, but that was beautiful. Like, I had such a joy and such a love and passion for things. And I think that sometimes, we think that life is supposed to be this huge magical thing, but it is what we make it. And it can be magical if we want it to be magical, whether that's just stirring magic into our morning coffee or just taking a moment and breathing, having deep meditation outside and enjoying our space. So it really goes back to the little things and enjoying those little things and remembering that those can be profound as well.
Mhm. This is an interesting rabbit hole I want to go down. If we know quantum physics, that everything is right here, right now, the past, present, future is all right here. How do you help them to frame that past life is actually still here?
I love shifting those belief systems and reprogramming their subconscious mind. So when they see these things that they have accomplished, these accomplishments, these desires, these passions, these loves that they've had, I remind them that they have all of that inside of them. So when we are talking about belief system specifically, this is what's been programmed in our mind from early childhood, from our experiences, our family, our culture, whatever it may be. That's what we're fighting by going in while we're in hypnosis. And now I'm guiding my clients into the deepest brainwave state before sleep. So we are in that theta state, and that allows us to unlock the subconscious mind, the subconscious memories, whatever we need to work with. So we're unlocking that and we're able to go in there and really change that belief system. Like you said earlier, we spoke about getting the trash out, putting all the good things back into the mind. And it really can be done through even just simple affirmations. Once I work through all the trauma, all the trash, whatever you want to call it, then I'm telling the subconscious mind, you can accomplish your desires. You are worthy of this. It is really those affirmations. Most people can do that at home. Everyone says positive affirmations to themselves. You can do that any day. But by doing it directly to the subconscious mind, in hypnosis, we're accelerating transformation. When you're saying it to yourself in the mirror, you're still speaking to your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is present. You're saying, no, you can't because of this, or you went through that, you're not worthy, or you didn't do this, you don't deserve it. We're fighting that conscious mind. When hypnotherapy, I'm speaking directly to that subconscious mind and I don't have anything fighting. So that is able to accelerate your transformation, kind of we're on the way there. Then you can continue that at home with daily affirmations. You can continue it with subliminal messaging. You know, I have recordings on my website people can purchase and download and listen to it while you're walking around the house, while you're in meditation, while you're falling asleep. It is a state of hypnosis, so you never want to use it while you're driving or doing anything that you really need to concentrate on. I do like to listen to these kind of like when I'm cleaning around the house or just meditating before I fall asleep is the best. Or even when you just wake up in the morning. And these are great tools as well because subliminal messaging, how it works is the message is actually masked with music. So you're hearing the music, your conscious mind is picking up on the music, and you hear faint in the background, faint talking. And that talking is going directly to your subconscious mind. So your conscious can't argue with that is another tool that you can do at home in addition to saying your affirmation. But to accelerate that, sessions are great to really push the subconscious mind in the direction you want to go and then just kind of maintain it. Remind yourself every day.
Because in my view, I'm not a fan of affirmations from the conscious mind because it's keeping the mind in the same loop. You need to get to that deeper level where you're not getting resistance and you're not occupying the mind with more activity.
Definitely.
Mm. You're taking them deeper. So you're trying to reprogram the belief system. Is this where you see something coming from a past life as you're tuning into this? How's that? So what I'm thinking is that you're working on belief system, but you're seeing like, oh, this is really coming from another experience.
So, in a session, when I am working on the subconscious mind and these belief systems, I don't always know specifically where it's coming from. I know the programming is definitely carried on. The programming starts in this lifetime with our childhood and sometimes even the womb. But also do a current life regression. In a current life regression, I start people back in the womb and then work up. So these beliefs can come from definitely carried on from a past life. Absolutely. They can be programmed from childhood, from what we carry on from our ancestors, even. So I'm not always asking specifically where this one came from, but we are working on them. On a current life regression, going back to the womb, it's very interesting to find how our belief system is programmed from there. The baby is picking up on everything the mother is feeling, sensing, knowing, happening around her. But even though it's mom carrying child, we're still picking up on what's happening with dad and dad's feelings and knowing. So that programming starts so early on that I start in the womb and I really work our way through that lifetime in a current life regression. We go to places of trauma, work through it to find understanding and forgiveness and make peace and shift the belief systems from there. I also take my clients to a place where they felt love from their parents. So I think that's really important to go back to that state where they did feel love because we're working on the trauma and what mom and dad did wrong. But we have to remember that we're also all human. So it's important to go to a place where mom and dad did right and you felt love from mom and dad. And to be able to feel that feeling, I'm not sure who invented this or it's just something I do in session. But when you're in that state, I do try to hold my clients in this state. And then they find something to relate to that state, to that feeling. That way, when the session is over, they can return to that state anytime they want to. I had a client yesterday. She was in that state, and I said, "What does this feel like to you? Let's relate it to something." And she said, "It feels like mint green." And that was her state of love, peace, understanding, forgiveness, tranquility. I said, "Okay, mint green." I said, "Hang on to that. Let's sit with that for some time." And then after the session, mint green. Anytime you see, feel, sense mint green, you can go to that state. So if you're starting to feel shame or guilt or some emotion that is not serving our highest good, we need to sit with it, process it, shift it to, for her, that mint green and be able to transmute that into love, tranquility, forgiveness, and understanding. It's so important because we really are here to work with energy and master the energy. And that really helps transform our lives and our belief systems and get where we want to be.
Right? Because ultimately it's all energy.
Yeah.
So you're just working at that level of energy, just moving through that. It's easiest to find those emotions of whether it's guilt, shame, regret, as opposed to examining thoughts. If you get into those feelings, then you probably can get to the thoughts behind it. Is that what you're saying?
We're staying in. So definitely the thoughts are fueling the feeling, thinking that about herself. She's feeling that about herself. And then to be able to go back to that state that we programmed in a session. So we programmed her state of love, tranquility, all of those positive things into a mint green. So she's able to just pull that and focus on the mint green, quiet the thought, and shift those emotions.
I'm curious with your spiritual practices and working with clients, are you seeing this impacting your family as well? Are they more in tune with who they are?
Yes, I have little ones. We're in all different stages, weird stages. But yes, I try to really focus on our feelings and our emotions and paying attention to where they're coming from and taking deep breaths no matter what your age is. I'm still learning myself. We're not perfect people. We're humans. We make mistakes. We learn as we go. There are things I've done with my older ones that I have learned with my younger ones that, I wish I did this with them. We definitely have a meditation time. We have an hour of quiet every day. I definitely try to put those things in practice because I believe in order to really change anything outside of you, it really begins within you and within your home.
Exactly, because it's going to really help your children. Because I remember like school days and high school being so, so stressful that there was all this mental busyness.
Yeah.
So if you have this quiet time that instilling with them, that's going to help them quite a bit.
And just like them having that sense of inner peace and being able to return to that state and know home is your safe place, your parents are your safe place. It's really taken a lot of work to get my kids to that point where you can relax here, you can be your true self here. And if you've had a bad day and you need to scream, scream, and then let's take a deep breath and move on from it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. They need to scream, get it out, then come back to center.
Yes, because I think we're so quick to bury those emotions and it's not always the best. That's when we're dealing. No, I'm dealing with all of these buried emotions. We need to exercise that throat chakra, get it out, and move on. Just don't stay in that place. It's important to know that you don't have to stay there. You can feel it, get it out, remove it, do whatever you need to do, and move on.
Yeah, it's a really important concept. You don't have to stay where you are. You don't have to stay in place. And a lot of people that are chronically sick or in a toxic relationship, whatever it might be, it's taking that step toward change that I don't have to stay exactly where I am. We can move forward.
Exactly. And that goes back to programming. We're programmed throughout life. I've done many sessions where I'm dealing with women who, like myself, chose someone who was abusive, or they chose the addict, or they chose this because that was familiar to them. That's what they have known their entire lives, their families. It's programmed within us. It's comfortable. It's what you know. And yes, you have to find that change to transform your life.
That's really the curse of the familiar. It keeps you in places that you don't want to be.
We love being comfortable, even if it's absolutely terrible for us.
Because that's what I tell people. The mind doesn't care if you're in pain, you're suffering. If it's familiar, it stays.
Like, exactly.
So that's how you get people to move forward is by changing those beliefs that it's familiar, it's comfortable. You have to get really, that's also a belief system that it's not
Yes.
really comfortable.
It's yes. One of my specialties is I work with entity attachment. And it is very interesting to see these entity attachments really hold people back. And they want to stay because it's comfortable and it's familiar and it's what they know. This is deep spiritual work. But I've had attachment come into people's bodies, into their work field, into their life during traumatic events as a way to protect them. But then they hold them back, don't allow them to change or transform and keep them scared. And they keep them stagnant. Going in and working with the entity attachment, removing them from their body, their auric field. I don't put my belief system into my work. Whatever someone calls something is what I go with. So I have one client who may call it one thing and a client that may call it the other. I'm going to call it what that client calls it for that session, and I'm going to call it what this client calls it for this session. I keep my personal beliefs outside of my work and I follow the lead of my client. These entity attachments, I've had people who have portals in their body, who have had demonic energies, who have had all sorts of basically they're a host to a parasite. So, whatever you want to call it, they are present and they're holding us. Sometimes these can be a traumatic event and a block in our body. They're there and they work to hold us back as well. Being able to remove those and let my clients move forward without this holding them back is monumental.
When I think of entity attachments, I think our spirit is whole just the way it is. And I can see maybe attachments being a belief system. And that belief system is really the attachment, you could say.
It's whatever our subconscious mind wants to call it.
Right, because you do have to use the language that resonates with
Yeah.
individuals so you can move them forward, something
Yeah.
that in their experience that they can say, okay, this makes sense. I can work with this.
Yes. And everyone's experience is relevant and everyone's experience is unique. So I follow the flow of my client in the same way that I have done sessions where we visit life between lives. Some people call it heaven. Some people call it oasis. Some people call it a spirit guide. Some people say angel. Whatever you say is what I say. So it's, everyone's belief system is obviously still present when we're working through this. So it's whatever they see it as while we're working through it, whatever they sense it as, that's where we go. That's what we do. So I've just act merely as a guide on these journeys, and it's really my clients who are doing the work.
Right. A guide is a good term to explain it because they're in a system right now that's not working for them. You have to guide them to a new way of being so they can get out of the familiar to create that change, to stand in their power.
Yes. Fools I have the knowledge, and I'm just guiding them on their own unique personal journey.
That's what I tell individuals that you may have the best doctor, the best medicine, but the belief system isn't lined up
Right.
with them. They're not going to help you.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing throughout life. If it doesn't resonate with us, it's not for us.
Yeah. Perfectly said.
Oh, you were also talking before we were chatting that you do these free events every other month. So exactly what are these events that you offer?
So I facilitate not only one-on-one sessions, like we spoke about the past life progression, the current life progression. I also facilitate groups, and I do some in person. But I love hosting virtual guided hypnosis journeys. I typically have one every other month on my website, which is EstherEdenfield.com. You can just sign up. All you need is an email to sign up, so I can send you the Zoom link. These are great if you're new to hypnosis, or even if you're not, you can just log in. I'm talking the whole time and I'm guiding you on this journey. It's very casual. I have some clients who are a little shy, or new and unaware of what to expect. So I tell them, if you want to have your camera off, have your camera off. Everyone has their mics muted except for me. I guide them along this journey. There is always a theme. We have an optional community chat after, and people love to share their experience and where they journeyed to and what they saw. So it's a little bit different than the one on one because you're not communicating back to me during this session. I'm saying, take note where you are. So they're taking note and taking all this information in. I'm guiding them through. And afterwards, we talk about it if you want to share your experience. I am going to do another one. I have not decided the theme, but we've done healing Gaia, coming together and raising the vibration of the earth. I've done the simple past life regression. I've done meet your future self, which is pretty popular. People love the meet your future self because it helps you see the person who has achieved your goals, your dreams, and where you want to be. It kind of accelerates that for you that you see that it's possible. So these free events are great. You just need an email to sign up. And
That sounds fun, like a fun adventure. It's like a guided meditation with a purpose.
yeah, I just call them the guided hypnosis journey. We never know where you're going to journey to, where you'll end up. I did one and it's recently, and it's interesting to see how many similarities people will see similar things. Here we went to the past and of a future timeline. You can jump 5 years from now, 100, 200 years from now, and see what you see. I leave that up to your subconscious mind. Some people went way in the future and they have seen similar things. So it's interesting to see how many people go on similar journeys. There's always some content, some sort of energy going on.
Right, because we're all interconnected and we don't even realize it. So it's this collective energy going on a
Yeah,
journey.
definitely.
That's really interesting. So when you're not doing your day-to-day work, what do you do to enjoy this human experience?
I actually do a lot of work outside. I'll take my laptop outside or I'll go take a nap outside. I spend so much time outdoors. I love being outdoors. I think it's important that my children are outdoors and just lots of grounding. I love having dinner with friends and once a week getting out and seeing someone I love outside my home, taking a break. and be just me for a moment, not just mom, which I think is really important. Other than that, we're busy with sports, school, and volunteering at the school. I like to stay very active and present when it comes to my children as well.
Mm, you're embodying this practice because we need to take care of ourselves.
Definitely.
It's been a really great conversation today. We'll have all your contact information below so they can find you, reach out to you. Is there any nugget of wisdom you would leave with individuals before we wrap up today?
Yes, I think we are souls having a human experience. Be easy on yourself. Give yourself grace, give yourself forgiveness. Change comes little by little. Please don't think it has to be some huge monumental thing. Just daily, small daily practices. You do change one small daily thing every day, make a little shift over time. You will see monumental changes. Give yourself grace.
Yeah, that's perfect. To be okay with the small changes. Because I went through a big change and it was a lot to adjust to, but a small one you can adapt to and keep moving forward. Perfect. Thank you, Esther, for your time. I really appreciate having you here.
Thank you so much for having me.